welcome to Here I Am Your Little Local Luka, and you've been sent to this video for one of two reasons. Number one, you just registered for the spring seasonal table. Whoop whoop, that makes me so happy. And this is where you've landed after you hit yes, I'm going to sign up. Or maybe you're checking back in and coming back to check this video because you kind of skipped over it when you first registered. Either way, I'm really glad you're here. Over the next couple of months, we're going to be exploring one of my favorite ways to support your body, and that is eating with the seasons. I used to run full long explorations of what that could look like and what it would mean, but it was a pretty big commitment. I think in this day and age, it's time to simplify things. So this series and this spring seasonal table is all about focusing specifically on those foods that naturally show up in the early days of spring, for this session anyway, and exploring how this can support your body during this time of year and what might make sense here. So let's talk about how the series works. First things first, this is how it's all going to unfold. You're going to get an email a week for 8 weeks. Actually, there's a surprise one at the end that checks in but we're going to be doing this on Friday mornings starting on March 20th. And that is because spring officially kicks off this year on Friday, March 20th. So that's when that first email is going to be coming out. Each week's email is going to include one of two things. It will either be a link out to a module, and that's going to include a handful of recipes and some seasonal context to help explain why these foods it is we're talking about are going to make sense right now, and maybe tips on how to source them out. Or could be the second option. In between all of those little bit deeper content, there's going to be a check-in email in between. And these quick emails are just a little bit more inspiration to expand on the previous week's content. So helping you pace yourself and start integrating some of what you're going to get in all of this program. So for spring, just to give you an insight into what it is we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about what is the main organ of interest in the season, a ye old liver. First things first. But in our weeks of content, we will be exploring seasonal proteins, where to find them, with, of course, recipes, because I'm nothing if not a recipe machine. We'll be talking about antioxidant-rich vegetables, why and what that looks like on the table in spring. We'll also be talking about nourishing soups and stocks and why that is always one of my favorite, especially for those who have chronic conditions or chronic symptoms that are having a hard time leaving. And finally, we're going to finish things off with a couple of seasonal drinks and a very classic spring dessert that I think everybody around the world will be able to access because I think rhubarb grows everywhere. So talk about keeping it seasonal. We are going to build on the resonance of what is happening in the natural world and how to bring that to your table. So how should you approach the recipes? A little quick note about these things. It's not meant to be another thing on your to-do list. You don't have to make every single recipe that's coming across, but instead, I'll invite you to check out, because there'll be 5 or 6 recipes each time you get one of those modules. Pick the one that calls to you to try it out, and then make some time on the weekend or down the road in the next week or two to try that recipe. And if it becomes something you love, I want you to add it to your regular rotation. That's really where the magic happens. Do you know that in the publishing world, a cookbook is successful if people have 1 or 2 recipes they go back to? Yeah. I just want you to grab 1 or 2 recipes from here. Yeah, if you want to grab more because you paid money for this, well then aren't you ahead of the game? But make it be doable without stressing too much about it. That's always going to be my goal. Okay, let's talk about this chat space. So there's going to be a space available for anybody who wants to use it. And it's going to be a spot like a group chat where only those who are doing this program together have a place to ask cooking questions, to share what it is you're making, or to see what others are trying in their kitchens, to get a bit of inspiration, or to share what it is you're noticing that's shifting as you're implementing these ideas we'll be talking about. You can pop in with questions. You can pop in with comments. Heck, you can comment on other people's posts if you want in here. You can also post pictures of the things you're doing to align with the seasons, whether it's in your kitchen or some of the other pieces that we'll be talking about. So I'm going to pop in there from time to time to answer some questions and also to join the conversation. So the group chat is going to be a really lovely spot where we're sharing all these things together. And that's how we're going to make this manageable and doable. We're not doing live meetups because everybody's schedule is full, but this group chat is just a nice little add-on. In fact, the first piece of maybe what you want to do, go find that group chat and go say hi. I've already dropped a little invitation in there. I can't wait to hear what you're going to share. One last piece before we get started. If this is the first time you've taken a course with me or a program, or you've done anything with me, you're going to want to create your account. It just means you have to add a password. In the series of emails that will come your way immediately after you register, one of those will say, Luka Simmons is inviting you to join her on Practice Better. That just means you're creating an account, tying it to the email. And once you create that account, you'll be able to click on My Programs, and then you'll get to this spring seasonal table. So I'll see you there. So let's wrap this up because I know you got things to do, so do I. So I hope this series becomes a small invitation to slow down a little bit, to notice what's happening in the kitchen, what's happening outside the window at this time of year, and seeing what shifts when what's on your table matches what's happening outside. That's outside right there, just in case you can't tell. It's my little patio. So cooking with the seasons is one of those quiet ways that we can reconnect with the natural rhythms around us. So when we do this, we are really doing this beautiful work of reinserting ourselves into the natural world. I don't know about you, but I really feel when I've been since 2018 even, I've just got this sense that we've been pushed to divorce ourselves from the natural world and see ourselves as separate. And I think so much of that is driving our dis-ease, discomfort, and some of that biochemistry. When we make our plates align with what's happening outside, it is truly wonderful, the small biochemical shifts that happen in the body. There's a lot of reasons for it. We'll explore why in our modules. But know that when you're working towards this, you are reinserting yourselves back into the natural world. I couldn't think of a more resistance kind of thing to do at this current time on space continuum. Okay, that was really heady, but you know what I mean. So you are part of Nature Pal. How you look after yourself is a big reflection of that. So let's make it delicious. Let's make what's on your plate match what's happening outside, and pay attention. Through all of this, pay attention to see what shifts, to see what your body's asking for, to see what you're drawn to, and reconnect that gut feeling. What is it that you're craving? What is it that your body's asking for? And what does it say when things are back in alignment? I'm really happy you're here. I will see you in the first module, the morning of March 20th. See you in a bit.